We're going straight back in with our next best of one. They are so scary when it comes to this V4 event. We've got Natu back with us. Dralon's still kicking about. And Dralon, we got to keep you here, mate, because we got Team Hungary, or they were Budapest 5, but they're not quite Budapest 5 anymore.
Yeah, I guess the best way to see this team is kind of like you remember those WSG tournaments, or that one other one, which we shall not name at this event, at this desk. So basically like a national team in some way. As you mentioned, it's pretty much the core of the former like Budapest 5 roster coming in. So pretty much like with maybe Aaron, apart from him, the core has been playing together for quite a while now. So from that viewpoint, it's, I guess the fundamentals will be there. We will see some team play coming up and so on, because these guys have played with each other. They know, what to expect. The map pool will kind of stay the same as well. So that's my judgment going into this.
Natu, do we just get another upset? Fiend's supposed to win this. We're on upset city right now. Let's keep it rolling.
I mean, you never say never. First of all, never do what Kassad did earlier for the last game. He said 100% AGO was going to win it.
Yeah, true.
It's always the curse.
I thought Moses already did that one way back, get cream pie and everything. And no one's just learning anything in esports, are they?
Just keep going.
I feel like this is the least likely, to be fair.
Okay.
From where I'm sitting at, Fiend have the pedigree. They've showcased that. There is a caveat in this lineup, though, and in this team.
Yeah.
Ships is going to be playing.
Right.
The skate member is going behind the enemy lines. He's joining his national rivals.
Getting all the information, taking it back to his team.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, like, Ships is the player whose nickname is probably the most, like, he describes him as a player really, really well, because he just sails around the map and does magically some overpass. A great example. He just always finds a way behind enemy lines, roams around a lot. And likes to make a lot of plays, take initiative. So implementing that into the Fiends is the way they like to play. That might be, something that they need to adjust to.
Yeah, and he's a very frustrating player to play against, right? And if you're not ready for it, if you can't hold him back, then he is going to walk around you. He's going to make your life a nuisance here. When it comes to this Fiend lineup, though, Dralon, we know they're playing a hell of a lot right now, game after game. These guys are grinding. They're not in your ESLs, not in your blast events, right? So they need to go through as many qualifiers as possible. But for me, when you look at just the core of this roster, obviously you've got the new younger players coming in. The core of this roster has been playing for a long time. They know each other inside and out, but they also always get so far and then it implodes.
Yeah, I think for this core, it has been a bit of a sadder story, because since we've been playing since like 2015, 2016, like some of the older fans might recognize these names, Dreamer, Victor, who's not here right now, and we also have Bubble, yeah. So the old G-Play, E-Frag lineups, you remember those were always super sick, kind of like the Bulgarian space soldiers in a way, but since Dreamer, I believe he had this WAG ban back then, which didn't allow them to go ahead and play in these Valve-sanctioned events. And that kind of bottlenecked the development of this team. So this is really where we kind of see this core coming back into the mix. But now, of course, they're the old guys now, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones who had to foster and raise this new generation of players. And that's where players like Restar, Harn, these new guys are coming in.
I like Han.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah, good.
Sick player. Great on the AWP. Just very versatile dude. One thing about this team also, they were so close to making it into the playoffs of the IRMR tournament. Yeah. They just failed it at the last step, right?
Yeah.
Copenhagen Flames kind of took the mantle.
Yeah.
Went all the way, almost made the playoffs.
That was actually nuts as well.
Major.
Yeah.
And I was kind of thinking about that from the Fiend perspective. It's like, how demoralizing, how are they going to take that? Because knowing the fact that if they do make the major, as Bulgarian Counter-Strike players, that would have been amazing.
Especially for Dreamer, man. He couldn't play in those for ages, never, and this could have been his chance.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah.
It was a little bit too far away, a little bit too far out of reach for him. But do you know what, for Team Hungary here, you got an invite, this is in your hometown, you're going to be hyped and ready, you're back on land, you got a chance to really show your stuff here. Who are we looking at, Dralon, though, right? Who are the pieces here that we go, okay, this is the man that can make a difference in this game? Right,
so when it comes to Team Hungary, I guess the name which is most likely to do well here, as well as maybe follow Torji to those international waters, is going to be Fleeve. He's originally a super sick rifler. Over the years we've looked at him and said okay, this guy has super sharp aim, played in the entry role, played as a rifler, did really well in both. And then, of course, in lieu of Torji leaving, going to Mouse NXT, he also picked up the AWP and has shown some incredible performances with those as well. So I will be definitely keeping an eye on him moving to this game because I think he can show us some very sick individual skill.
He's got big shoes to fill though, right?
Yeah.
Look at Torzi now, you mentioned him. This guy's on the Mouse NXT Academy roster, but is also doming and dominating a lot of these tier 2, tier 3 teams. They don't play like an academy team either, so certainly made a step up in the right direction.
Yeah, I just feel like this is going to be one of the tougher first games you might get as a team on land. You play against Fiend, who have a very broad game style. You know, they don't veer away from taking a fight, even when they maybe even shouldn't take a fight. They will take it anyway. Might be rushing at you, playing mega aggressive.
Yeah.
And then you have Dreamer, you have Red Star, you have Hard.
Yeah.
Those three punching at you. That might be a little bit too much to handle.
And the other thing is you look at the head-to-head between these two rosters, well, at least in Team Hungary's case, we talk about Budapest 5 in this case, and there's never really been a single time where they actually managed to take one over Fiend. Even back in the Torji days, when there was the strongest iteration of this roster, you could say, even then they struggled to reach double digits. So I don't really see this going any differently right now when they arguably have a weaker roster as well. And also, they don't really have such a solid game plan going in because, after all, they're a bit of a mixed team right now, right? They don't have that much practice going in.
When it comes to looking at map pools, though, when we get into that side of things, right? Obviously, Fiend are going to certainly have the advantage in it. Is there an edge that they can look at? Is there a map that they can settle on and say, at least we'll be able to play it? Or are we just looking at maybe pug maps?
I think their map pool sort of overlaps.
Okay.
Obviously, we don't really know what the map pool is for this Hungarian team, but going backwards, looking at the older results, maps like Mirage, Inferno can come into play. I know these guys also like playing Nuke every now and then, so maybe that's somewhere they could take Fiend if they want to, but it really comes down to veto, I think this will come down to a map which both will have some sort of repertoire in playing. I guess that's where it comes down if they can land their shots or not.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think the map is going to be a massive difference maker in this kind of matchup. There's such a big difference between these two coming into it. Of course, if they do land on the best possible scenario for Team Hungary here, and they prepared something sick and everything just clicks, sure, things can snowball the right direction. But in a best of one, I always keep saying you'll always end up in a map for both teams that is at least in the middle of the pack of your strength in terms of map pool. So that doesn't bode well. But the best of one situation can always also be tricky.
Now, when it comes to the Fiend and obviously Victor coming out of it, right? Normally, when I look at a team that has a player and a standing come in, you see it as maybe a bit of a downgrade or it's going to cause a bit of confusion. But Ships here, to me, I would say is an upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, he can definitely be the secondary voice for the team if they opt for that. I don't know how they want to set it up. Him leading at skate, he was brought into that lineup to lead it to, better heights, I guess, and just to become a better team overall. All at the same time, I'm not sure how much they've spent time actually playing with him now with this lineup. They all obviously know each other in the scene. It's not massive over there in Bulgaria, so they all have a lot of history. They played against one another a gazillion times, so they know one another as players already. But putting all that together, like I said, Ships is a player that likes to take initiative. He likes to sail around the map and make individual plays. Is he going to have the opportunity? Is that going to function in this Fiend lineup?
Look, I mean, if you're bringing a stand-in aboard, that's one of the best things you could hope for, right? Someone who has the agency to do it themselves. So I guess in this situation, it's a good fit.
Yeah.
Well, let's get our first team onto the stage, ready for this game. It's Team Hungary, and they are representing the beautiful country that we're in. So let's see them take it on. Team Hungary certainly look focused and ready, but are they going to be ready for Fiend? Even with a stand-in, this team is clearly the favourites. Let's bring them onto the stage.
I don't wanna cry.
Synergy, right? You would say that the one that isn't on the team would be the one that doesn't stand behind the chair, but it was the other guy, you know. He just forgot the rest of his team were doing. He forgot the instructions, he forgot the memo. Hopefully in game, it'll be a lot better for him.
Yeah, I mean, it can be hard, you know. You had one thing you needed to do, you screwed it up. What can I say? Not a good side.
not a good side early on. We just now just swing straight in, but it's like,
exactly.
Team Hungary, that's it. You're going to win. It's all over just from the odd man out.
Yeah, no, I don't think so, really. Like I said, there definitely needs to be a lot of things that go south for Fiend, for Team Hungary to be able to take the W. But it's been upset cities so far in the best of one world that we're living in right now. But so yes, we're probably going to be going towards the veto. If we go to one of the vanilla maps, you know, the Infernos, the Mirages, for example.
Mirage.
There you go. It might be a little problematic. And I can understand this from a Fiend perspective too, coming in with a stand-in. You kind of want to go something that is puggy. Well, the Dust 3 of the world, basically, Mirage. So the puggiest of them all.
It's also super difficult for Team Hungary, honestly, because for Fiend, Mirage is like the most played map by far. This is what they had the most success on. Like going back to the IEM RMR, this is where they took down FaZe like 16-6 or something. This is where they got the big upsets. Yeah. So just got this map here as well with like a stand-in who doesn't have to go deep into strategy on a map like Mirage. It's a bit one-sided for me.
Yeah, I can imagine already. I can see the future where. Team Hungary is trying to get in some mid control and then just get probed everywhere from window, from connector, from short. Pop flash comes in and they just get dismantled. All of a sudden they find themselves in a 2-on-4. It's like, all right, boys, what are we gonna do now? You know, so they need to be ready to take a fight early on in the rounds to have any chance of grabbing rounds.
Well, maybe the fact that they've got a lot of maps under their belt will give them a chance to try and get this one underway. But it's time for us to go into the game. It's time for us to get back with the Eternal J and Dweg. Take it away, boys.
Almost forgot about you for a second, didn't he? There, you had to say my name and then stagger for you. Yes, welcome to our third best of one of the day. And whilst we have seen a number of upsets so far, I doubt this is going to be one of them, Dweg. I want to believe in some sort of miracle, the fact that we have ships as a stand-in, that maybe Fiend might be weakened. This team is just far too powerful and leagues apart from the Hungarian side. And I hate to say that, I really do, because it's a beautiful place to be at, but I just don't see them winning this match.
Even historically, Team Hungary have been pretty decent on Mirage. I think to myself, if you go up against Fiend in a BO1, you don't play Mirage, you don't play Inferno, and you don't play Dust 2. Yeah. You play whatever else. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just don't play those three. You're playing one of Fiend's best maps in the pool with ships as a stand-in, who, again, plays a lot Mirage unscathed.
Well, listen, if it's a 400 IQ, like, veto to try and get out the likes of Dust 2 or Inferno, which have been much more commonly picked for the guys over on Fiend, I sympathise with that idea. It's just not going to work in this case, because Mirage is their bread and butter. It was the map that for the last 6 months or so they have just picked in time and time again. They've defeated tier 1 teams on it. They've done so much work on this particular map that, yeah, I'm kind of looking at this one as being probably a more one-sided game of the day, and it will actually go towards the favourites this time. In terms of win conditions, therefore, like, what are we kind of looking at as being the big thing for Hungary to do?
Well, it's going to be difficult straight off the bat because for Fiend, they've played 11 BO1s on HLTV this year. They've won 9 of them. The 4 losses, or at least 3 of them, were to Gambit, NIP, and Skate, and they've got ships on their team today. So beating Fiend in a BO1 is going to be a difficult affair. I'd have to imagine that getting off to a strong start has to be the get-go for Team Hungary.
Oh, 100% easily. They're on the T side as well to kick things off in the pistol round. So if there's a half that they want to try and establish to set themselves up with a decent map, it would be this one. We know that Fiend have a very powerful T side at times, so keeping your eyes on that one, seeing how well they can do in the second half as we get to the pistol, see how far Hungary can go. Flea will already start things off on the right foot, so immediately we might have our words put to paid. Red Star can turn around a 4 versus 4, find Corey out the apartments.
Yeah, that's a great shot to start off, and now it just seems like it's the B exec. Smoke coming down towards that short side, flash over the top. Badito being able to get that entry. Red Star caught in from that bench position. So many entries going down on that B side, and now for Bubble, he's the last one left, and he's not even going for it. Hold on to something?
Well, it's probably a good idea, honestly. Hold on to the Kevlar at least. Get that much out of this one. Give the pistol up to the Hungarian side. Team Hungary will start things off on a stellar foot. And, I mean, it is kind of with the pattern of how things have been going so far. The underdogs have always been able to get the early starts in these matches and then convert it into the actual map itself. So I'm looking at this as already being a good sign for them. I'm not sure whether or not it's going to convert alongside that way, though.
Yeah, again, you'd have to imagine even Fiend's force buy win percentage is very high, and there's no way Fiend are going to go USPs in this next round. They're going to try and buy it up. I wonder what kind of role Ships is going to bring to this team, Jay, because Victor's obviously the entry fragger for them on T side. I wonder if it's going to be Bubble as the in-game leader taking on that responsibility, or Ships being one of those players that can just be mimicked into whatever they want him to be. Because again, he played with these guys under Windigo, he played with these guys when they were in Bat Peak before they even got signed by Fiend. So they do know him very well, and they've played a lot with him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm having some suspicions that he's probably just going to fill in the gaps and see wherever he can play himself out, especially for the CT side, where it's like he'll just sort of play the same positions that Victor might do, and do his best to try and do as much as he can in that particular context. Whether or not that works out for him, I guess we'll have to find out as time rolls on. We have the pistols out, the force buy in, the scout involved with the regular rifles, the standard for the Hungarian camp. Badito will be the first player out of the gate. We'll try and look for Bubble first and foremost. Does get tagged by that scout. The aim punch allows Ships to get a decent trade in. Corey will try to trade back to a 4-on-4 situation. Molotov's out. Bubble should be protected by that smoke against it. Still sits back in the back lines though, Flea keeping his eyes set towards that map.
A lot of rotations. Neither Bubble just trying to see if he can stall the time, slow him out from this palace position. For Team Hungary, they're not backing off. It seems like they want to continue to commit and continue the fights.
Bubble will take face with the Deagle. It's Han there with a scout straight to the head of Corey. So a 4-on-3 next up as one more player gets thrown in the part of Hungary. Coolio can turn around a frag back towards Bubble. So even standings once again. Flea spots one player back over towards CT. Red Star gets caught off next up. So now the advantage swings to the favour of the Hungarian core. But Dreamer has other plans. He gets his frag. 2-on-2 still. Backed up players here for the CT side, which they will force them back out of position so that way they can try gain the bomb site itself. They're still fighting for this though.
Yeah, Han's got to be careful about how far he overextends. Great angle for Dreamer to work with this Deagle out for the travel position. He needs to try and connect onto one of those headshots. Time is still low. The bomb's not yet planted.
Should get there soon. Scout continuing to fight. They're out in the open. He catches Aaron as well. Han, all-important pick back. Coolio stands alone. That Scout does not get the headshot. He knows he's out towards danger box. His teammate on the other side of things will continue facing the burst fire. The bomb doesn't get recovered. Should get planted here.
It all just comes down now. Can they get any more wallbang shots in? They're actually giving a lot of respect up. Low HP going to be difficult. Coolio trying to see if he can isolate some of those 1v1s, committing to a fine lot of damage being done. Han's been able to press further forward. Coolio turning into a 1v1.
Still looking out for the last Dreamer on the left. Spotted, spray the AK, connects his 4K, and Coolio can keep it going. He's hyped about that kind of a win, appropriately so, because it's a clutch and a half for a 2-0 start.
Yeah, that's a big round, and that's exactly what they need. Otherwise, forced by back, being lost, you then go in the back and forth affair, and things might start going in the way of Fiend. Now that 2v1, I mean, really, you can't say they could have played it any better. They're both incredibly low. Winning a fight onto a 100 HP Coolio, that's not easy at all.
Not at all, indeed. Fiend down to the pistols. Kind of pretty basic eco. I have got some upgrades here and there, so they have got mostly hand cannons out for them, so a bit of a basis to work from, but nothing major in terms of the heavy investment potential. They can eco their way back into a full buy in the next round. Matt 10's out, and Red Star will put his deagle to great effect. Corey caught first, man down. When they play towards the outside of the site, and Badito will catch Red Star. So 4-on-4. Molotov's suppressing the bomb, it should go down.
You've got to imagine for Team Hungary in a round like this, just don't lose a massive amount. Don't lose any more rifles. Try and see if you can extend up with some of the money line. Nice little line up in the smoke to try and get out towards that market window. All in all for Fiend, they're just looking for exit frags.
And just get some damage on the board, remove everyone from Hungary from play. His nice set sees nothing. And was on the parcel. Nice set. And they will try and back up into the apartments. Might catch the exit studio. Catch Double and Dreamer. Might not get that third pick. Trips eventually comes up as a dead man. Bubble. I should say. We'll find Aaron next up. Kill found. So one casualty taken here.
Now, HLTV recognises Team Hungary as a core of BP5, obviously. There's 100 teams in the rankings between Fiend and them. That's a lot of teams.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably saying the least, I'd say. Yeah, like a lot of teams. Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, I mean, that's part of the reason why we look at this match and think it's going to be extremely difficult. Like, at least with the other guys, there was some basis which you could potentially find a way around. Maybe, possibly.
We're trying to find some positives for the underdogs here. Yeah, no, I do kind of agree with you. Another talking point might have to be that Fiend played a BO3 last night against the D13 Mongolian team that's now relocated to Europe. They lost that. And D13 are ranked 120th in the world. It was quite a close game. It was a BO3. They didn't play Mirage in that series, but still, knowing that that was only yesterday, probably not the best confidence booster going into today.
I mean, that's probably an encouragement point to Hungary, isn't it?
Oh, without a doubt.
So
more of a negative for Fiend.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So if that's the case, our Fiend and Fiend have been a bit of an up and down team as of late. Like they've had a couple of like really respectable results. Like obviously they've got like first at Eliza Invitational, for example, and they've found some. They qualified. They managed to go far in the TWR European Eastern European Masters.
Yeah,
and various bits and pieces like that. But then you take a look at some of the other tournaments they play, and sometimes they can just absolutely just smack the floor very easily, like out in round one of Malta Vibes series is. And the key one that I'm always looking at is the V4 International Online Cup. They were supposed to go at least second place, maybe fall towards Sinners, because that would have been our banger matchup at the Grand Finals.
Yeah.
They dropped out twice to the boys over in the Wisla Krakow side.
Yeah. And if there is some sort of rematch there, that could be quite intriguing.
Same
that does come in. Hey, let's see what happens here. Ship's going to be playing out towards that connector position. Team Hungary splitting out. Not even interested in mid going into round 4.
No, one more focus on the ramp control, the apartments take. Jump face of Red Star. Spots nothing out of App's control. Should be aware of the default in play, however, from these boys. Much more passive from Hungary in this round.
It just allows Fiend to just get all of this mid stance. They've got Dreamer posted up on short side. Ship's playing in from connector. Bubble gets a couple of flashes over the top, so he's going to put an incendiary down towards that ramp take. It does seem as if Coolio's going to try and sell the B fake.
AK leaning up and takes this fight. Red Star wins it out. All important pick for him. Opening things up to the CT side of the B defensive. Corey will dive down towards the A play. Molotov's back towards the back of the Tickaboo. Should drive that individual back out of there. Ship's ahead of the stairs. Will try and peek ahead of this at connector. Flash is coming over, utility coming down. Aaron takes face. It's Corey, the man that finds the kills. Come up for the T-side line. Steve takes down another Corey. Dreamer Han going back and forth as they try and engage, and eventually they will catch up all players at the T-side line. The first round, the rifle round, gained by Fiend.
I just already have this feeling this is going to be a real scrappy game. A lot of fighting going on, a lot of back and forth trades. We could even see there for Fiend, rather than just giving the respect to the T-side and saying, hey, get the bomb down, we'll play retake. They're just absolutely peeking everywhere. CT, connector, jungle. They're trying to put as much pressure onto Hungary as possible and make it uncomfortable to get that bomb plant in.
Pistols coming out for Hungary as well. The damage being done in the previous few rounds means that Fiend are going to push them onto the back foot when it comes to the economy state. Tech 9s, P250s, a Glock. Not a lot, really. Jump face, we'll get information back on where the T-side default is playing from. A bit more fast and aggressive in this one. They're actually going to pull out towards the B site. Red Star back at bench takes engagement. Dreamer does get overwhelmed by Aaron for it. Tech 9 with a frag. Red Star with the M4 finds the quick trade. Second kill, not quite as easy for him, but he makes it a triple in the end. Bedito finally overwhelmed with 3 versus 2. Honest information to where one of the players are at, and Coolio gets caught off by Ship. So Bedito in the clutch situation, overwhelmed by Bubble. Second for the ball to Fiend.
Yeah, something that that Natu was talking about on the desk is how like Dreamer used to be vacked, right? That was something that came through. You have to remember that when we saw like the Bulgarian lineups, anytime they would go to a minor, they would always have Punisher, or they would have someone else standing in. So even though it hasn't happened for quite a while, they're probably used to every now and then having someone to fill in, having someone to stand in, and working around that.
Well, at the very least, being able to have the adaptability about that situation. Like, the other argument to that is that do they ever make it to like a deep run in a major?
Well, no.
That's the big thing. Yeah. Red Star catches Coolio, picks him up. Han can turn around the AWP, the second AWP towards Aaron, double up against Fleeve as well, and now Hungary getting picked apart. Now they're starting to feel the experience of what Feed really are like.
Yeah, and we haven't even seen much of Red Star so far. He's got a pick, Han's got a couple, and Corey and Bedito just got no way in. Resmoke goes down from that Palace position, and even Corey could just get caught off by Red Star if he goes short.
Sat here waiting as Corey engages out of connector. It's Bedito that gets caught next by Dreamer instead, so now just down to the last man, caught off by the AWP. Seen there, not taken out. Fights onto Han as well and does damage to the second AWP and everything, so significance. Try to stay alive here and force out some sort of clutch, but I honestly don't think he'll be able to fight against every CT player. Maybe he could isolate the individuals, he could take some players out, but Chips will close it out, grab the AWP. 2 AKs as well for the CT-40s, and Fiend even at 3-3.
Now, I've just realised as well, Chips does a bit of AWPing. Now, Victor was always the one on Fiend that would never AWP. We have got 5 guys on this team that can all AWP at some point or another.
So keep your eyes on where that AWP shuffles around to. I don't imagine they'll take it off their main AWPer, but when
maybe
they get the
different
double
maps.
AWPs,
If they get BO3s.
Yeah, well, when we get the double AWP setups out, then just sort of keep your eyes on how this plays out. For now, it is Red Star and Han that mantles the big green guns. I think Red Star just dropped his somewhere. I'm not sure where for. Either way, they've got pistols to deal with against the CT side. Corey does find Ships at least, so that Deagle will have its impact. It's 1 casualty taken.
Yeah, Han posted, and up against these eco pistols. Can we really call them eco pistols? It's a P250 and a Deagle and Glock, so it's really just a couple and then nothing.
I mean, that's kind of what the definition of eco pistols is.
Well, no, eco pistols is 5 pistols, really. So, I mean, pistols, I guess it is.
I mean, Glocks are pistols, so...
Yeah, all right. Let's just stay it as that.
Eco round for BP. Oh, we almost made that mistake. Team Hungary walking out towards the A site. Bubble takes fight and kills them off. Easy kills against Benito, and Coolio nades back on the position. Try driving backwards, same. The flashbangs will keep them at bay and actually force a rotate back towards the B side. Engagement from Han as well will catch Aaron out of the apartments. The one player that could have gained some access towards the B side, but the fact he's gone down now leaves Corey and Fleeve with not many options left.
I think definitely for the viewers at home that are looking at this team thinking, isn't this BP5? I mean, every player on this team has played for BP5 in the past. Even their coach, Gabberson, used to be a player and coached them, and I guess he's just coming here for the event to try and help the lads out.
It works, it works. 20 seconds. Walks in for the T-side line. We'll try to look out towards the site. AKs at a crossfire. Shots ringing out for the Eagle before he gets caught. Dreamer and Han. Easy pickings to the board now for Fiend. They have the lead. Team Hungary. Well, they had their pistol conversion start, but now the real stars are taking over.
Yeah, 4 in a row without bomb plant. You start thinking to yourself, okay, who's going to be someone to open up? Who's going to be an individual here for Team Hungary to get something going? An opening man advantage, something quick, tactical timeout. So far, we haven't really seen a crazy amount. I mean, Aaron as well is an interesting player when you follow his career because he was quite well known in the Hungarian scene. He retired. He's decided to come back, played in a couple of teams, and I guess after this event, we don't really know what's going to happen with these guys, but it could be the last event, maybe? Go out with a bang?
Possibly, I don't know. Depends how he feels, really. Like, if he wants to keep playing, he can keep playing.
Yeah. I mean, this realistically could be the last time we see these 5 players together on LAN, at least. Maybe online, you know, we'll get all the boys together for a cup here or there. But on LAN, this could be the last time we see Team Hungary.
Well, time will tell on that front. It's time to get into the 8th round for now. AK still on 2 players. Still got Red Star rocking a pistol. I'm not sure what that's
I think
about.
he does have an AWP. It's just not quite registering up. Yeah.
Right, okay. Well, set in with the weapons as standard. Hans Orp will try and back up his teammate in the mid control. The flashes at the ready. The AK is watching from Corey, and Ships will just jump face, hunt for information out of the ramp control. Minute and 20, and it looks like a set piece coming in from the T-side line. Yeah, Standards connects jungle stairs, CT cross smokes. Dreamer, gun barrel detected. Aaron can find that opening kill pretty easy.
Oh, Ship's trying to play on the edge of the smoke. Might be able to find a multi-frag. They even check him. He says a player out towards Firebox, but can't win the duel onto Corey. And now things get difficult for Fiend.
And Bubble can turn up with the AK against Coolio, blind through the smoke. Maybe even exploited a gap there. Turns forward ahead of the position at CT. Harm will steal that kill away from the man as Red Star chimes in with the AWP. Gets Aaron next up. A 3v2. Fiend consider the site. They haven't considered the bomb plant. They haven't considered the round either. They have the advantage still.
They need someone to start stepping up here because they don't have util, so crossing into the site's going to be difficult. Fleeve with the AWP needs to connect onto either one of the AWPers at this point.
Red Star starting to walk. AWP. Moving about staying ahead of the firebox, but still can't see them now. Peeks out to Red Star. The right timing in the jungle, he gets his kill. Alongside Bubble out of CT. AK turns up the double. It'll be 5-3 to the board. 5 in a row for Fiend.
I don't even think there would be much of a conversation to say that Fiend are probably one of the top teams in this entire competition for their double AWP setup. The only other one that I could maybe think of is Vizsla, because Marcos and Spiro have actually got a pretty decent thing going, where a lot of the higher end teams actually don't double AWP as much as they do. But you just saw it right there. That's a 5-on-3 advantage with the entry going through onto Dreamer. Ships gets caught off behind the smoke trying to make a cheeky play, and then Han and Red Star is like, right, stay posted, hit your shots, we win the round.
And the gun's being brought back by the players that fell over from Fiend. There's still the hand cannon pistols out from the T-side boys. Red Star finds Corey first. Damage done to Pedito out of the apartments. Couldn't quite follow suit for Ships. Red Star doubles up, and Flea finds a response. Very good headshot.
Lovely. I want to see some more of that. Very nice stuff. Bomb control can get regained from Pedito. Bubble just waiting for any kind of shoulder or even a jiggle that comes out from underpass.
What do you do with that kind of shoulder is the question. Will you take the fight directly, or maybe not going to get the chance to do so? Got to turn his attention back to Fleeve out towards mid. He's caught Dreamer next up, his second kill in this round. Perfect shooting from that Deagle.
Now, Ships is aggressed up, and Fiend have got to maybe hold on the leash a little bit. Just say, guys, stop peeking, because now Fleeve has been able to find even more with that Deagle. At least he's getting traded. Aaron's been able to walk out, does get caught by Bubble.
If Fleeve was in that position, he would have hit that shot.
Oh, yeah, of course.
3 kills for him in this round, making it expensive for Fiend at the very least. Pedito now to try and finish off the job that his teammate has started. Bomb on his back, and I think backs are turned to him as well. I think Bubble just looked out a connector. He's going to keep his eyes on both entries to the site. And now the cross has been locked. Pedito can go for the plant. So there'll be bonus money at the very least here for Hungary. Face out to the right-hand side. Tries to see if he can clutch the round itself. Get that fourth to the board. Takes his engagement. Bubble's already made his way forward, though. Only a matter of time before he swings and secures the round for Fiend.
And well done. The 2 in-game leaders being able to get that job done. That's a bit of a weird statement to say, isn't it? But they are both in-game leaders for their respective teams.
It makes a lot more sense when you consider the Ships as a standard. But wouldn't that be an interesting dynamic to both these two players to debate what the strat is going to be?
OG? They did that, right? You had MBK calling CT side, Alexi B calling T side back in the day?
Yeah, but that didn't work, did it?
Wow. I didn't say it.
There's a reason MBK is not on the roster anymore. 6-3. I love
at least
you,
it's a bomb plan, right? Like, this is a way in to at least stabilize the economy. Because, yeah, max round loss bonus is nice. You'll take the 3,400. But if you're not getting that bomb down, you're not going to keep getting rifles out.
6-3 to the board. Rifles will come in for this round at the very least. But the concern, again, is Hungary getting the actual rounds themselves. Double AWP setup still to deal with, and Red Star and Han. These two guys have been pretty fantastic with the big green so far here on Mirage. Fiends will find their defensive line. Spray through the AK. Goes so awry for Corey. Bedito falling ahead of him. Dreamer and Red Star, just more picks pouring in for the CT side. And Hungary just getting ripped apart. 7-3 to the board. Almost won the half already.
Yeah, can we say they're getting pumped here now? I mean,
yes.
Yeah, they won the pistol, they won the anti-eco, they got the 3rd round because they went up against the Force in the 2nd, and there weren't many upgrades, but I didn't look at it now. I mean, they're all over them.
Just look at that wall of blue on the round streak. Like, that just really demonstrates how good Fiend are. And that was the big risk and the big thing we were talking about. Why would you pick Mirage into
you
Fiend?
don't go.
Like,
no, you
never.
don't.
Not even tier 1 teams should do that. I think a few of them made that mistake in the RMR, if memory serves me correctly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Hungary not in a very good position. tactical pause, I guess, has been taken by these boys once again, because it's not really worked out for them.
Yeah, and again, the heartbreak of that RMR from Fiend would have hurt really hard. They have bounced back, though. You mentioned that they won that Eliza event. They beat some very good teams, Skade, Big, Lingby, Copenhagen Flames. Only dropped a single map against all 4 of those in BO3. So this is a team that's come back off of the heartbreak and it's looked quite positive.
Yeah. Again, they have had some dips here and there, so will this event be one of those dips? M4 engagement for Ships, gets Corey. Opens up out towards that mid-control ahead of the smoke. Saw him jump facing and pull off that boost up. Kill found easy as Hungary are suppressed, held away from their position in the underpass area in particular. Outside of that first contact, nothing else has been established.
Typically, what's very frustrating to play against when Fiend are on CT side is the AWP setup of Red Star playing sort of connector and Harm playing window, and they sort of rotate around one another. I'm looking at Ships and I'm thinking, is he A? Is he B? Is he connector? He's just moving everywhere.
On his first pick in this round, so looking for a bit more. Han might be able to get the next contact, though. Got Bubble on the crossfire up at the end, Palace position. Actually, in dark, excuse me. The Dito caught next.
Ooh, rotate. Look at this from Coolio.
He's going to walk out as the CTs walk away. This is going to be the B site being gained this time. They tried this in one of the eco rounds. Now with the guns out, they've got no resistance whatsoever. This is a free bomb plant at least.
And it's a massive over-rotation from Fiend, and we would normally say, what a massive mistake. The problem is, it's still a 5v3 from them. So even though Hungary have got an open bomb site, they can get the bomb down, it's going to be the post plant. How do they even hold on to this?
Yeah, it's a 3v5 with 100 HP across the 5 and against Fiend is the problem. So this is going to be difficult. They do take a fight out towards the market doorway, but Dreamer combines alongside Ships to find Fleeve next up. So 2 left standing in Coolio and Aaron. We'll try and force pretty far forward here. Their positions are very out in the open. Aaron in particular, we get ahead of the site, get out towards market doorway, catch Ships in the dumpster barrels. Aaron gets one trade. Dreamer to 4. He struggles to get the low HP AWP, and Ships can turn it into a 2K. Big whiff spray there. And that will cost them another round for Fiend, 8-3.
Ships on the AWP, being able to get it done on that retake, just getting some damage in, being able to find that secondary kill. Bomb plant for Team Hungary, so we should see another buy up. So far from Fiend, it has looked pretty simple. And honestly, that's probably one of the first times in the last 8 rounds that it looked like they made a massive mistake, or at least they made a crucial mistake. They made one that actually looked like, okay, this could be a round changer, but then you look at the man advantage.
Yeah, instantly turned back around there. That scenario just worked so well for Fiend. And a part of it was down to mistakes being made there by the Hungarian side, so there is always that. At the same time, though, Fiend have been pretty decently pummeling them into the dirt. 8 rounds in a row, and Hungary got a lot of work to do if they want to try bring this back. Flashes, utility sent over into the A side of the fast set piece execution. Nice nade towards Aaron, should dish out some damage. Not a massive amount, though. He tried to evade that HE as much as possible. One part secured in the open, but what does damage to that player as well, but can't deny it. Bedito escapes with his life.
There's a backstab coming in from Ships, and this is one of the first times we've actually seen a backstab to any play down towards the A side. It all just comes down to how they can pull the distraction away from Ships.
He is continuing a slow walk. He's just reached the spawn, so he might not get there in time. He will fight onto Fleeve, however, and he does win that fight, so the T's have the man advantage this time. Smoke's on, Molly's out. AWP going to get top of the ticket booth. Bubble watches Dark being fired upon by Han, sees the player at sandwich, all important shot. Coolio with a responsive though. Bedito follows suit on Dreamer, so it's the AWPers in Red Star and Han. Red Star chimes in for one pick, another kill goes the way of Han the same, but they're out of time and they're out of the round.
Yeah, backstab not quite paying off, and you could see too, even for Bubble, he's trying to spam through that jungle smoke, hope to see if he can deny that bomb from going down. It's only damage down onto Bedito, and for Team Hungary, that would be a massive relief now. 8 rounds in a row, you felt like a lot of those rounds weren't even competitive, you get onto the board, you get your 4th.
Stuff once again, the buyback can be secured from Fiend at the very least. So there will be guns back out, probably a double AWP setup. Han can afford the AWP again, and yep, that's exactly what they'll do. And 4's a standard, and plenty of cash in general here for Fiend coming both into and out of this round. Still 10k for Han, didn't even have to buy the AWP, he was still dropped from somewhere on the floor. So a lot of money to work with. Another rebuy will be up for them. Hungary are not out of the woods just yet.
And this is where we kind of see the detail of how this is a mixed team. Fiend have got complete mid control, and we haven't even seen any counteraction. We haven't seen a way that mid is being taken back. So for Team Hungary to be able to try and force fights away from these AWPs to get the mid pressure, it's going to be very difficult.
It's up, shot missed out for Han. Red Star can't bail him out though. Great bait and switch position. One missed shot, second AWP comes in, Benito will fall, and they might be aware of Fleeve as well.
And this is where we start talking about the wild style of Bulgarian Counter-Strike. There is 2 AWPers in Con in the same position!
No one ever expects that coming, although I'd imagine that at this stage you would have been used to it by now, Dweg, but apparently not. Corey caught off by Ships ahead of the smoke, it fades, he finds his frag, finds a 5-on-3 now for Team Fiend. Aaron to walk out next, but the bomb has been dropped by Coolio, the same as the CTs continue extending. Aaron drops next up. It's all falling apart again for Hungary. 1v5 for Fleeve. This is 9 to the board of the CT side.
Yeah, Red Star's even keeping hold. Yeah, what an angle. You can't pre-aim that at all. Looking down from the verticality of the shells. 9th on the board from Fiend. And Team Hungary probably saying to themselves, geez, can we just get this over and done with? Can we just get into the lower bracket?
Higher potential competition potential for them, knowing that Enterprise and Vissla are in the game on the other side of the bracket.
Yeah, it could be a tough one to call, to be fair.
That one is probably the match I was taking a look at being the closest one. It was the only match that I said, hey, there's going to be an upset to, and obviously that's not worked out to my favour. Of course, that match is coming up right after this one, so if you are looking forward to that, then make sure you stay tuned. There's Eco for the Hungarian side. Ships has found 2 picks, so immediately a 5v3 being gained. 2 more to walk out ahead of the smoke. He gets his triple. Now Dreamer comes in with support, makes his own double work. Bomb dropped, everything. All 5 alive. Double digits for Fiend.
And they're giving them no respect. And why should they? They're playing with a lot of confidence. They're looking to take many fights in from mid. Get that eco as done as quickly as possible. Hungary, best chance here of getting 5 at the turn of the half. Fleeve with the AWP. We've seen some decent stuff from him. I was really impressed when he's still back there at Salamander, when he was making a bit of a name for himself last year. Haven't really seen a lot of sort of high potential in these players for a little while. So I'm hoping that someone delivers here.
Upset for Fleeve to try to deliver an opening frag for Hungary. Of course, one final 4-buy in round 15. Not to make it a 10-5 half, but even that I have concerns about. Fiend's T-side is the big worrying factor for Team Hungary, so their troubles are not over just yet, even if the half might be. He will catch Bubble off guard towards the ticket move from CT Spawn, and he's will still reface and engage, tap onto the Cinder Blocks angles, hoping that there's somebody out there, and he will continue bursting onto that position. Does not catch any of the kills, though. In fact, there's very little damage being done to Hungary at all.
I wonder when Fleeve starts turning around and looking back at that backstab again. Bubble trying to deny the bomb from going down. Benito falling to Dreamer, and no one's watching out for this backstab.
1-3 situation. Flashes come forward. Han gets tagged up to 16 HP. The backstab could actually work out this time, finally. Dreamer gets turned around by Aaron, so bit of something to work with now for the Hungarian side, a 4 versus 4. Keep your eyes on that minimap. Those ships are still closing in. He's about to catch off Corey in the palace position. Slow walks, he goes in for the knife as well. Coolio, Bubble, Han, back and forth trades, leaving Fleeve alone in the 1 versus 3. Orp watching up at the stairs, the defuse will come forward, and he can catch Bubble. Han's there for a quick responsive. The defuse will get locked in. It will be 11-4 to turn the half up for Fiends.
Mate, that's not even BM. If you have a look this year and how many knife kills Ships gets, I don't know what
That's
it is.
just standard.
It is standard. He literally gets at least 1 knife kill every time I see him play. And sometimes it's even more.
Yep. And definitely at this stage, you can expect that probably a bit more to come as well later on throughout the course of this match and over the course of the game, the tournament, I should say.
Yeah, even the kill distribution, Jay, I think we should start mentioning that for Fiend. It's just so together. I kind of guess it is as well for Team Hungary. It's just that the numbers aren't the same.
There,
yeah. So, yeah, everyone's kind of together, no one's popping off. Whereas for Fiend, everyone's delivering. And knowing that they're coming into this event as a favourite, at least in this group, and knowing they've got to stand in, it looks decent.
Yeah, if you take a look at those numbers again, it's just night and day comparisons.
What do you think of Ship smiling and then everyone else just looking serious?
Different. I like different. I look different. I like different. I can appreciate different. So smile all you want, my man. That's a beautiful smile you got there. 11-4. And the Hungarian side will not be smiling at this moment because we're about to face the pistol round of the T-side of Fiend. Ships. Kush is down 1, tags him very heavily. At least the damage is returned back from the Hungarian camp, so there's always that gap in that smoke as well. Ships could be in trouble, but Aaron takes that fight into range from CT Spawn. Got Corey head of the ticket booth. First blood drawn by the CT side, and they continue tapping up. Drop that bomb next up. Running out of ammo, though. Aaron somehow managed to stay alive. Dreamer with only 1 trade back. He's the last player standing. And, well, pistol performances can be praised at least for Hungary.
Yeah, 2 for 2 with pistols. 5 rounds altogether. It's all right. It's a way to get some momentum going again, start off, make sure that you don't lose this next round. I mean, knowing that there wasn't a bomb plan. If you buy up, you're still going to be limited. You're not going to be able to get those Galils out or even a Hero AK. So it does seem like they do want to buy. It's probably just going to be Deagles and that's it. A little bit of utility here or there, but not much of it.
Rifles back in, of course, for Hungary. Force buy, as you would expect for Team Fiend. No bomb farm bonus to enable the AKs or the Galils to come out. They have the pistol hand cannons involved. Try to see what they can do in this one. Fleeve with 2 already finds Dolan ships. Han ahead of that smoke might catch him off guard. The kills coming in for the rifles as you would be able to expect it. Aaron turns on Han and Dreamer once again standing alone. Exact same position in the last round, but no further success.
Decently done. You could see Fleeve peeking over the bottom con smoke, being able to isolate a few of those individual jewels, and then even getting a multi-fag of 3. 6 on the board to come through from the Hungarians, trying to see if they can start turning it into something. I mean, knowing that round 18 is going to be a light eco, you'd imagine easy 7th.
You hope for easy 7th, but anything can happen. Fiend are no strangers to the eco steals.
We saw one today. We saw a couple, to be honest. Light eco wins, yeah.
Let's see whether or not it works out towards their favor in this one. It is, again, a light eco, not quite a force buy like the previous round. They've got guns out of the Deagles, the P250s. And such weaponry, of course, for Fiend Camp. It's out towards underpass for the majority of the players here. Pretty spread out in general, though.
Yeah, just hoping that they can force an overly aggressive peak and start wide spreading out. I mean, that's probably the best way to play an eco like this, is just default heavy. See if some of the individuals can strike with some instant domes. Dreamer's lurk in Palace. I wonder how late he can get out of there and if they can scramble any sort of rotations, because he's an incredibly passive player on T-side of Mirage.
Ideally, he's looking to find the right timing on Corey. He's got the angle for it. Doesn't seem, though, doesn't opt for that peak. In fact, it might be a split play. They've now got mid control. They've rotated away from the underpass in the apartments area. Corey finds ships. Now they're aware. Must be at least 2 players towards mid. That spot may indicate that they're out there. The Molotov doesn't extend all the way out either, so Han's not giving up his information. 40 seconds to the clock. How does this lack of info affect things?
Now, Han's waiting for Bandito to start rotating in once there's enough information down towards that A site, and there it is for Dreamer, catching off Aaron towards CT spawn.
Headshot on. M4 of Corey, turned away from. Bubble does get shut down by Bandito, and follows suit into short control with the M4 burst fire, looking for the triple. That's what he'll get. Corey with Dreamer. And that is a 7th round for Hungary, so a decent effort for Fiend, 1 kill. Nothing major though, again, it's all shut down for the rifles. 4 rounds to go to equalize, and Fiend have the guns back out.
I mean, if you weren't looking at the scoreboard of how it shows how the rounds went, down 7 to 11 against Fiend is actually pretty respectable. The issue is, 6 of those rounds came off the back of early leads at the half. Wing out to win out the first 3 rounds of the first half and of the second. Now it comes down to what can they do against the rifles, because they only won a single round after that when it came to a rifle v rifle round.
Very animated there from the coach. I think a tactical timeout was just taken there by BP5 once again. Probably to sit down and figure out that we can't afford to lose this next round. It could be even worse for our momentum state, economy state. Spike for them. Recenter their game plan and take on the Fiend side, who will now be unleashed with their first rifle round of the T-side half. Fast out into the apartments for the default. I think they might be playing out something a bit more advanced because they have got some mid presence being taken, but you can see Han is hunting for that entry frag. Doesn't quite catch him though.
He had a good spawn to make an aggressive move. Gets out from that apartment's position. Doesn't quite hit the shot, so it doesn't come through. Could still be the arch smokes going down, the B commitment. All in all, for Team Hungary though, they've got a fair few players over towards this B side.
Smokes up, Red Star. It's a bit of flash assistance against the likes of Corey. It's Kudo that finds that first pick on the other side of the site. Overwhelmed by ships. Corey with 1 and 2. Bandito comes up with that 3rd pick out towards short control. He gets a double of his lonesome. Now he's 4 players alive for Hungary. Okay, this is starting to get interesting.
Yeah, it is. Maybe Fiend just need to go back to the default heavy stuff. It seems as if we're seeing some set pieces, and that one right there, they're running into a stacked B bomb site with 3 players, and the crossfires were established that were really clean. Allows Hungary to get some more momentum going. Fiend slowed down these last few rounds.
Yeah. As you mentioned, probably down to the set pieces and the defaults working out better for them. go back to that kind of style and allow it to stay in its own position. What is the adjustment to make for Fiend, though? What is the big thing that they got to do to gain control of this T side? Like, they really should do, honestly. Like, they should be able to find some explosive style of play and be able to work that in as their main, as their main sort of focal point. When or where is that going to come forward?
Again, the sample size of what we've seen in the second half is so small. We've seen one rifle round. So it is difficult to get a bit of a gauge of what works, what doesn't, what's going to be more effective. Maybe some more pace in from mid control, try and see if they can allow themselves to get an aggressive move, open up some space, an opening man advantage. Even going into the next round, it's not great, is it? You got a hero AK onto ships. I'm going to be keen to see what he's going to be like with a hero weapon.
So with the scout on Han as well. So a couple of rifles, but you're right, there is a hero AK. Ingles and everybody else, nobody has invested into in the utility outside of bubble. 12 ships as the head Kevlar. So does Red Star here. Jump phase of the one CT player out there is seeing where Red Star is at. He's going to force him away. Red Star does not continue to engage. He knows he's on the back foot. He's got to either land the perfect shots or just not bother.
Yeah, Corey's got to be careful about overextending out from mid, otherwise he could get a one-for-one trade, flash over the top, gets in and gets out of there quickly.
The scout that's dropped, not the AK, so ships can still work in. Attempt to do so from underpass, but couldn't catch an angle. The incendiary goes back down again, drives the T-side players away. Badito passes utility back to his teammate. Still got one smoke that you can put up at this position. Try to stop any aggression that might push forward. 50 seconds to the clock, and the T's are starting to push back in towards the short control. And from mid, still indecisive about this site here.
I think it has to be a split into B, really, just with the positioning that Red Star's got. Try and see if they can work that sort of play in. Ships has got very aggressive into short.
Press the issue. Rima engaged by Fleeve. Great shot in with the AWP. A 5v3 now gained by Team Hungary. Badito gets caught by Red Star. Coolio there with the responsive ships. Finally is overwhelmed as they're able to account for him. Drop that bomb as well. All left to Red Star. Taken out by Coolio. Gets his triple. Gets the night for Team Hungary. And the guns come right back out for Fiend. But thanks to the pistol conversions and the other ecos, we have started to see a number of rounds from Hungary. 5 in a row. And Fiend, well, they're still yet to find something in the second half.
Yeah, disappointing from Fiend in that round, knowing that they were able to get ships in a very good position. He was able to walk right up onto short. They had no idea that he was there. Seemed as if they were going to pull enough of a distraction with some of the apps play from Red Star. Didn't quite happen, and Coolio holds his ground. He's got teammate support even on rotation too. And honestly, Team Hungary putting up a decent fight in the second half.
Yeah. Looking good, looking respectable. The CT forces, they still hold their own right here. See them walking out towards that mid default and catch them looking for that opening frag. Han will get Fleeve, kick things off on the right foot this time. Fiend now have control of round 21.
Corey is probably thinking to himself that he needs to try and make a play. Him or Badito playing in connector to try and find a bit of a pick back, but that's probably what Fiend are waiting for. An overextension, a flash over the top, and it looks like it's coming.
Taps on, then for the swing, Corey will get bubble, finally isolating back to that corner. Left completely alone, no support from his teammates. They rotated back out towards the ramp control. And speaking of ramp control, Aaron has it. Pushed up aggressive, and they might not be ready for this. Red Star's walking out nonchalantly, and he does lose his life. Now Aaron's got to back away. Aaron's coming in with the AWP. The shot pre-fire is not going to come back for him. They don't have the information just yet, but 45 seconds, it's Hungary with the advantage.
What a read this is from Team Hungary. They're completely stacking up on this A site, feeling as if they've got the rotation. Corey on the off angle out with ramp, deals with ships. Han on the other side. If this bomb gets dropped, the round's over.
Oh, missed shot, and there it is. Corey makes it a triple, and Hungary are hungry for the lead, it seems. 10 to the board of the CT forces. 1 round to go to equalize. Fiend are still yet to start on T.
Yeah, this is a very scary factor. You have a look at how many CT rounds have been won to how many T rounds, and it's very CT based when it comes to this best of 1 today. Hungary are feeling it. They're looking pretty solid on that CT side. They're finding some good form out of every round we've seen in the second half. Haven't even seen a bomb plant yet from Team Fiend. Yeah, things are looking rough for them.
Maybe there was a reason why Mirage was being phased out as their default pick. We talked about this a couple of times in the past handful of months, is like seeing Dust 2 and Inferno getting picked in above a map like Mirage. Yeah. Is there something deeper going on there for Fiend? Maybe there is. Hungary. Single round to separate them from the leaders of Fiend. A set piece execution, the incendiaries come down, and Benito waits, takes 5 ships, comes up with his kill. Aaron with 2 back and returns to a triple, not quite on. And Red Star over well, and actually they gain control of the site. 3 on 2, the CTs are very far away from this. Bomb can get planted, but they're going to try to play something a bit different.
Yeah, Dreamer's going to have to really come through huge here because everyone of Han and Red Star is just so low. They can start slowing it down. They've got so much time to work with. They can start bringing that bomb back out to the B side. And for Fleeve with the AWP, who's defending from this short position, might actually get a rotation from Coolio.
He's going to hear those footsteps. He now knows the rotations are inbound. AWP set and ready. Jump face trying to bait him out. Didn't quite go for full 9 yards and does get caught for it. 2 on 2. Now Coolio's rotated. Red Star gets caught. And it's all left on Dreamer. You mentioned him having the middle man to step up. Now known AWP looking for the fight. And he's going to land it perfectly. 11 all. Team Hungary have equalized against Fiend. They've had a flawless CT side. Look at the amount of blue on that board.
Now, even that round right there, yeah, you can look at it from the perspective of it was just an eco. That was very winnable from Team Fiend. And even though they have the information that they're trying to bait the AWPer out, they would have heard that scope down onto that short position. They're just not able to find the final few connections. Dreamer in the 1v2 can't quite step up. And Team Hungary, one more to push it into a lead.
They've got the perfect round to do so right here as well. Full buy with reset potential against the likes of Fiend, so they could be a 13-11 lead. What is going on here? Fiend have not looked fantastic on this T-side line. Started to wonder whether or not that ship substitution did something a bit more damage in terms of their T defaults and such.
Oh, it could be it. Palace Pop, just try and get the flash high, fly him out. Fleeve with the AWP is ready for it.
All backed up, Ship Streamer and Han. Rice set as Aaron starts to peek, looking for information, looking to catch these players off. Just a simple flash into the A site. Ships detected, taken down in the end. Fleeve comes up with support of the AWP. Red Star running out of ammo against Aaron. Aaron the same thing. Bubble and Red Star can get those trades in regardless. Fleeve finds a responsive. So 3 on 2 still. Both players committing out in connect. The Bubble gets caught by Corey, and Han left alone. 1v3 clutch, AWP in hand. And is at least smoked away from that short position. So in theory, could go for a plant open here. But his concern is going to be, though, after plant, not necessarily the plant itself.
Yeah, even the shadow out towards CT, not going to come through. Lead being gained here by Team Hungary. And Fiend have got to take a tactical, just slow it down, realize what is going on here. That whole round just falling apart. Real good trades there by the Hungarians. And this CT side is really something.
The tactical pause was just called in there, and it has to be by Fiend. If it's by Hungary, I'd be shocked.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, tactical for Fiend. And now we just have to ask at this stage, Dwayne, what is going wrong? Why is this not the impressive Fiend side that we've seen? Has Ships' substitution really had that much of an impact to this side?
I don't think that's quite excusable. Again, anytime you've got a substitution and a stand-in, it will change the complexion of a T side. Again, when you're playing a team like Team Hungary, though, you should really be rolling over. And knowing the way that they played that first half and just how successful it was, feels like morale's probably at an all-time low. They're not finding any success. Opening duels aren't going their way. Fleeve with the AWP is finding a lot of connections. He's not missing.
Team Hungary, 12-11. M4's AWP's out, AK's for Team Fiend as well. Incendiary set to try and drive players away from the apartment's control. Bedito, M4 just set and ready as Aaron does get caught off. He still finds the kill on Dreamer somehow. Bubble with the trade back. Corey continues to fight on from Connector. Doesn't see much out of them, however. Already jumped out of Palace. The bomb can get planted.
Oh, this is a great round from Fiend. A lot of distraction being pulled away. Ships with a great timing. And now distraction just being pulled in mid.
Now they got the advantage as well. 2 players out there, Corey and Coolio, can both upon them. Corey can make it a 2v2, so the trades have been great. I think he spotted a player as well, top of Firebox. Fleeves AWP, spots Bubble, can go for the headshot, he'll attempt it. Wall bang, and it actually connects it as he spots his hairline, drops him down, all left to Han now. Bomb known, 2 CT to face, he gets a spray transfer, tapped once by Fleeve. Han thinks he's still sticking it, but Fleeve, he's still on the bomb site, he now taps it and sticks it for definite. Is Han gonna hold it? He's going for knives! And this one does get caught, it goes Han's way. And that is the first round on the board in this half for Fiend.
Yeah, right there. Just comes down to the Manic. And what that sort of setup, it's unorthodox for sure from Fiend. They're just desperate and they go for a Palace Walk. They've got Red Star still in mid. They've got Ship still in mid. And even though Team Hungary did relatively well when it comes to the trading game, it's just Han playing that 1v1 to perfection, being able to waste a lot of time, get that knife finally in. And that would be a good feeling from Fiend to know finally a T round comes.
It's taken a long amount of time to get there, though, so they have let a lot of room slip past them. Let the opposing forces of Team Hungary start to catch up. 12 all to the board. A tactical pause was taken. Another moment's respite to think things through. Another moment to yourselves. Start to press the issue forward. It's in AWP watching. Molotovs come back. Suppress initial vision, but the majority of the T-side forces are not playing in ramp. They're in apartments.
A lot of util being used out towards this B bomb site, and even Corey is starting to make that move in behind them. He might be able to gather all the information and stack up B.
First player out, Ships. Molotov to support it. Mac 10 out. Pedito catches the kill. Coolio on site. Corey with 2 frags of his own, and it's a shutdown round coming in from the CT side. Bubble will hold on to 2 frags here. Smoke up, grab the M4, bomb on his back as well, but the backstab coming in. Flea's got the AWP on lock anyway, and we'll find the lead again for Hungary, and just as soon as Fiend find confidence, they also find themselves back down on the back foot.
I'm not really sure what's going on here at all, Jay. Gabberson getting behind some of the Hungarian players. Played here in 2018 under Game Agents. Trying to see if he can insist in a coaching role for this event. Honestly, though, things just look so dire for Team Fiend. Not even getting a bomb plant in that last round after winning one means that they've got no money. They're going to have to eco. Team Hungary getting up to 14. BO1's on LAN. Upset Kings.
Yes.
Who would have thought? Especially this game, too. That this was, for me at least, the most one-sided one we could have got.
Oh, 100%. Like, in spite of the issues that we've seen for Fiend, in spite of the fact they're playing with a stand-in, like, this should have been easy. But here we are. Aaron's found a first pick against I think it was a Deagle that Dreamer had. He's got one of many upgrade pistols that Fiend currently have in this one, but a half buy at best. A little bit of Kevlar, a couple of helmets. Nothing major for this round. This should be 14-12 to Hungary.
Fiend just hoping to see if they can catch anyone sleeping, try and see if they can get Chips boosted up, flash it into the window position. Corey looking at 2 different angles, both in connector. He's got Fleeve to back him up. Chips falling instantly.
Leg shot in from Fleeve. Will continue tapping. See those players coming out of the gates. Corey also faces, takes another fight. 1 player left in tow. Running out of ammo. Pistol can still find the pick back. It's all left to 1 man of Han out from the backstab. I don't think he's got the bomb in his back though, so he's gonna... Oh, another, really? Oh no! Okay. It came together. But there is, again, he's not got a bomb, so he can't get a plant, and he can't really do much else.
Gonna get walked in by Corey. 14 on the board for Team Hungary. I can see a little notebook. I can see some preparation coming into this event, and this is something that I really wanted to see from Team Hungary. You're not going to show up and say, we're a mix, we're going to have a bit of a laugh, see you later. No, you're going to come here and you're going to try and give it absolutely everything, and if you can somehow upset a couple of these teams and make your way forward to the next stage of the tournament, that's a dream come true.
Hey, look, right, if there's one thing that you're going to want to do every time is get prepared, and clearly, like, Hungary were prepared for this. Mirage being played to perfection from this side, especially on the CT forces. Again, Fiend have only found a single round in this half.
Which came for a 1v2 from Han.
Exactly. And, by the way, they're known for their T-side of Mirage. Like, something has gone seriously wrong here for Fiend. Smokes up, Orps in, fighting away with the nades and the Molotovs and all sorts, just thrown back and forth. Either side able to get an opening pick, not a lot of damage being done. Fiend would ideally like to get that though, because this will be their final buy, else we'll be going to match point with a serious economical deficit.
Well, they've got some good map control at least. Bubble getting into that ladder position allows the opportunity for a split into B with a late lurk. It all just comes down now to the opening man advantage, where they can be able to find an opener. It seems as if it is going to be the walkout. Now, Coolio's just jump spotting from that van angles. He's going to see the information straight away.
Smoke on, red start. Ready to start peeking in. Coolio's the only player to defend. He's got backup on the way, so Fiend want to act right now if they want to have their best chance at overwhelming that B site defense. Still we stand. Now the second player does join the fray, and Ships and Red Star will be the first two individuals out of the gate. Molotov out towards the back of Van. Corey gets caught full blinded. Still finds Ships. Drops that bomb. Burst fire from Coolio. Gets his kill. Corey can double up. Two left standing in Han and Dreamer. And what would be a disaster of a Mirage for the boys over from Fiend. A 4-on-2 situation as one trade has been found. 10 seconds to get the bomb down though, and they're still being suppressed, still being damaged up. Han stands alone, trying his best to fight his way out of a corner, but they're just pouring down on him from all sides. Aaron with the final frag, 15 to the board. It is match point, and Hungary are getting real fired up.
Yeah, they are. And for you and IJ, I think we've casted Fiend 40 to 50 maps this year, and this is probably the worst I've ever seen them.
Yeah.
In a BO1, for them to be up by that kind of a margin, for them to only lose the first 3 rounds off the back of the start of the half, and then things just get so far out of control. Hungary, what an upset this could be.
Yeah, very appropriate for the day of upsets, but we all had this one down as like, surely not. Surely they wouldn't do this, right? Well, I think they just did. One final buy for Fiend. AKs across the board. MAC-10 in, limited, heavily limited utility sets. Smokes on, shots ringing out. Fleeve looking for the kill to open things up in Connector. Knows that his players have taken that control. Not quite a frag as of right now. Here comes that first from Ships, getting so close to Fleeve. Can't chase him down, eventually gets there. A far better start from any Fiend player.
And now it comes down to the wraparound play. Coolio expecting a bit of a dive out towards City Spawn. Ships being able to find a couple of kills, and finally it feels like something's going right.
Aaron can find a trade though, so Hungary not out of this round just yet. Looking for more. Has got a player at Tetris. Bursting. Can't get the kill. Red Star follows it up. Coolio goes down next. And Petito in the 1v4 means that we will be playing out for a little bit longer. Not quite over just yet for Team Hungary. 3 rounds to the overtime, Dweg. Will this be our second one of the tournament?
Yeah, money situation's really good for Team Hungary, so they'll be all right going into round 29, and then depending on how far they spend going into round 30 could have limitations. You got to remember as well, Jay, there was a point of time only a few months ago where Fiend in the last 3 months had 27 wins and 3 losses on this map.
Yeah, that's true. Unbelievable stats for Mirage, and still we stand with an incredible upset to hold. 13th to the board for Fiend for now. Again, survival for a time. Hungary do have a buyback.
And that's the opportunity for them to strike straight away. Don't allow Fiend to gather just that slight little extra moment of momentum to try and bring it into 15-15. And it could make a lot of sense that we do get here to overtime. Again, Ships had a fantastic play, and it felt as if we haven't seen a multi-frag for so long from Fiend that finally we saw something that had semblance of, okay, this round looks decent.
Warp in with Fleeve, trying to aggress and force out the opening kill directly. Molotov and flashed and naded out of position, so now he's forced to fall back into Connector. On with his own orb incendiary to drive him back. Does get caught by it, tanked initially. Not dead as of right now. Just forced out of the way, no real contact established.
Now, Aaron got flashed deep into A main, so he's already got the information that they're not setting up any nades or there's not much A presence. So that's maybe going to give them a false sense of security. That's why we can see a third man rotate back over to B, having the indication that it's going to be a B site Xe.
Slow and careful again from Fiend. They're best to force out new way into this. 60 seconds remain. Until he goes down, the flashes go over, the T's try and wrap their way right back out towards the T-spawn. Try to join their teammate in Dreamer to go for the A commitment. Han's still waiting back here in mid though. What's he going to be able to play with the split?
Oh, Aaron getting flashed in, just misses the timing. Oh, if he overextends, he could get caught by Red Star.
Or he could catch them both. He can away at the wrong timing, gets Bubble, gets Red Star. Aaron shows up. 2 A's, 2 kills. Bubble and Red Star to fall to 5 versus 3. Aaron comes up with a triple, in fact. Ships and Han, all that remain. Ships comes up with 1, and Han turns around a quick look. Frag, almost a second player as well. Coolio on 12. Now Flea starts finding frags, or at least attempts to do so. Sees them at the very least coming out towards the stairs angle. 13 seconds. They've got to go back for the bomb. It's out towards Ram, still being dropped. Now Fleaver's got a chance to shut this whole round down, and Petito's got a cross-lock. He's dropped it for a second time. Hahn left alone, and Fleavesorb connects it. Hungary still the most impossible map. Mirage above Fiend, and we go 3 for 3 in upsets, and it's Hungary with the win.
What an insane victory. And to think that they stepped up in the second half. They were down 4-11 at the turn, and the streak just kept going and going.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was never going to stop. Fiend put a couple of rounds up, but only a couple.
That has to be one of the most insane upsets that I can think of. Like, even the ones before were pretty insane because of the nature of the fact that, hey, we kind of had our four favourites in the best of ones, but this one was the most one-sided affair. I think you mentioned something like a team in the top 25 versus Hungary who are like top 100 or something along those lines.
119 versus 18 in the world when you look at the ranking.
Absolutely ridiculous in terms of that kind of upset. And best of ones on land, you know, apparently that's what you get. We saw it in IEM4. We're seeing it here in V4. Like, this is shaping up to be a very wild playing stage to work.
Yeah, it really is. And again, this is a mixed team. This isn't even an Hungarian team that's been practicing for tournament after tournament. The team of BP5, it doesn't even really like play together anymore. So they've brought, I guess, the old lineup back and players that have played together in the past. But my goodness, to beat the 18th best team in the world in a BO1 on Mirage too, what an insane victory.
Well, Hungary most certainly will be happy with that kind of result, a 16-13, a victory for them. They move on to the upper bracket, best of 3 in the group stage. It's Fiend that got to play for elimination later today. It's complete nonsense, guys, and I hope that the deaths can break down that nonsense, because I sure as hell can't.
The madness does continue. Thank you very much, Dwayne Eternal J, for delivering that cast, because that was confusion for a lot of us here, mate. And but what did we say, Natu, right when it came to it? That like, oh yeah, this one must be the one that shouldn't be an upset.
Yeah, no, I was the one paint that picture that this should be the one where the madness ends, but
no,
none of that. We'll keep on going. I think when I say that in this map there were 3 weapon rounds won by a T side total in all of the freaking game. That kind of paints the picture. It wasn't pretty on either of the T side for sure. It's Team Hungary gets the early lead, but then it's just all Fiend. I mean, there's really nothing that Hungary is able to do. You kind of think when it goes to halftime that they should be quickly kind of over, but very, very disappointed by Fiend and how they approach that T side.
Yeah, definitely. So can go half by half, I guess. In the first half, you know, on the CT side, I've seen, for example, Fiend being at a double up stop right, both Horn and Rest are capable with the up, very good at it. And I thought, okay, 11-4, it's a lockdown, right? This is how the game will form out to be. But then, obviously, the Hungarian team winning both pistols, capitalizing off that you already have 6 rounds to work with. And then they put up an excellent CT side. I really like what they did, for example, on the B side, right? They had a very solid anchor in terms of Coolio. He did a very solid job holding that down. And on the A side, you had a bit more aggression. You saw Aaron pushing that ramp area, getting the information for their team, which allowed the B side, you know, to prepare maybe for a potential B hit.
Now, when we look at this, right, I hate to say it, because I'm not a fan of when people are like, oh, the 11-4 scoreline is the worst. Mentally, it just must be doing these teams in, I swear to God. 11-4 first half, you think, yeah, okay, cool. No chance, right? We're just going to see Fiend rocket from start to finish. And you've got to just be honest, even with ships coming in, just the caliber of players, the fact that these guys definitely know each other, that was embarrassing.
Yeah, I guess the kind of sense of security you might get at the 11-4 is where that all comes and stems from.
Yeah.
But it all kind of felt that Fiend were calling everything on the fly, sort of the thing. Like the one round they won, they had 2 players coming out of Palace. They had 2 players just making 1 player in the middle, 2 guys in B apps, trying to fake out a B push. And you actually saw a bit of an overreaction from Team Hungary there. It was Aaron who managed to get 1 kill, got traded straight away after that. But he already saw the motion. They were already rotating towards that B bomb site. And it was actually good to see a timeout straight after from their coach. You could tell that he noticed that, okay, my players are a little bit too antsy right now. They're making too much rotations too soon. So maybe he was the one to kind of cool them down, and that there was an actual lockdown straight on out from there. And
this goes to show, though, right, when you look at the ending there for Team Hungary and what it meant to them to win, they all stood together as a team. When you give them some chances of hope to come back into a game, they're just going to run with it, right? They're never going to back down. Yeah, definitely. And that's, I think, maybe the pressure comes into play. So for Team Hungary, right, you're invited. I guess you are pretty much happy to be here in the terms of you don't really fight for this spot. For example, like a team like Sinners or maybe a team like Fiend here did, right? Yep. So for them, I guess the job is that, okay, you're here and basically whatever you do is, you know, there are no real expectations, I guess. You're a mixed team in the terms of you haven't really played together before as this set, you know,
And then on the other hand, for Fiend, well, basically it's an expectation that you beat this team. You have done it in the past numerous times. It's LAN. This is basically your kingdom, right, as a team, and you have to do it.
Yeah, and for Hungary, when you think about it, I mean, they just beat world ranking number 18 in the world.
Yes, exactly.
It's a bit of a questionable ranking, almost like the ESL rankings as well, mix them in together.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's for Team Hungary, it has to be a massive win for sure. And, I really like the way, like you pointed out, especially I think it was the last round of the game where Aaron made a bunch of different probing towards that A ramp.
Yeah.
You saw the early rotation towards the B bomb side once again, but then he got all the information again and even got a 2K, eventually a 3K by having his aggressive plays. And it felt like, Fiend just didn't have an answer.
They certainly didn't have an answer, but they're going to need it when it comes to their elimination match, when it comes to the best of threes, but it's not looking so good. We're going to keep things moving though, because we've got one more single game left when it comes to these best of ones, and honestly, it may as well just be an upset straight away. It's Enterprise taking on the team from Krakow. We'll have to see how it goes after the break.
Red Star, Aaron shows up.